and I was forgetting. But we're on YouTube now, so there's YouTube's back up. It's like I can hit, hey, what's going on? The Secret Squirrel Club. Blake's here. I can't respond in that chat, unfortunately, the way I'm doing it. Because I'm not using either Facebook or X as a primary. I'm using the hide. Hey, what's up, Robbie? Evening. Yep. So I can't respond. I could just say, Blake's there. Hi. How do you like my colors? I threw an extra color on. I threw another light just because I could. And then I'm out of the light, so I look normal. But then I got like rainbow bright going on. And today we filmed, if you go on the hide and you go on X or one of those places, I don't know if I put it on Facebook, but we filmed a bridge, rainbow bright bridge, with the high mount, because everybody was asking us about prone, because most of the time we're shooting tripods or positional or doing something. And so with the prone position, people were thinking that the tall scope was going to be no good. It's actually really, really funny when you read some of the comments and they're like, that'll never work. And then, so we filmed, if you go on the front page here, we filmed a 2-minute, like literally Chris laying down. I said, hey, let's film this prone, because we couldn't show anything. We all go out to the range and nobody has anything you could see. And so I'm like, hey, lay down, 2 minutes, explain the high mount, the bridge, and show, because he was shooting prone, and which is rare. And it's like, show everybody prone position and talk through the high mount. And so Chris does this 2-minute video, and he's shooting and he's talking, and it's like, bang, oh yeah, and I do this and I check that, and he's like, and if you watch, it doesn't move, and he goes bank, and he's like, yeah, and then he goes, and then I go in this, and then bank, and he shoots 3 shots on paper, and they're all touching. They were strung a little, but they're all touching. But he's literally like talking to the camera. It was 2 minutes, and him explaining the position, and look, and then shoot, and then look, and then shoot. And it was not a bad group, and a guy is like, this is my group doing it the old way with a 300. And I'm like, dude, that's cherry picked. Do it on command while you're talking. Right? It's like, he's like, it's like cherry picked. It's like, yeah, I got really great pictures of groups the old way too. I have 25 years of groups with my scope low that are really, really, really good. But now I could see. Now the gun doesn't move as much. Now things are going on that open up my field of view and change things on how we're doing business. Oh, you switched to a one? Yeah, save your neck. In fact, Laura's in Kansas City, Missouri, all that stuff, and she picked me up 2 Badger C3s, 193s, and then I think I was doing a 193 today. It might not have been. It might have been a 1.5, because it was a 30 millimeter, so I don't remember what it was. But yeah, I really do think the minimum is going to end up being like 1375 for people, and then anything above that is gravy, unless you go too high, and then hey baby, you just got home from supper? Howdy. Yep, I was just talking about you picking up a C3 Badger. Chris should be popping on. He texts. I don't know what that meant, but he texts, so he should be coming on in a second. But yeah, so we were in doing that, and I was like, hey, do this video so people can see you in the prone position. The gun doesn't move. The scope, like one shot, he wiggled a little bit, and it might be why the group is strung a tiny bit and not like a 2-hole group. But if you look, it's like the scope doesn't even go out, and he's just he's just sitting there, and the scope, and he's not into it, and yep, 193s. So yeah, everybody, the 193s are nice, you know. So we're looking at that. So that's why I said the Rainbow Brite Bridge for the name of this guy, because the video we posted today, Chris posts the bridge like a Phil Vallejo's a bridge video. I don't call it the bridge, but they call it the bridge. And so they're bridging the rifle into their shoulder and then holding it. And then as Chris brings in his rear bag, he's showing you how he doesn't really use the rear bag as big a support. Let me see what he's coming on. As big a support as lagging in, running out a bit. All right. He says he'll be in a sec. So he just texts. Let's are we on? Are we on? Let's make sure we're on. Yep, that one's on. And then yeah, I mean it looks good. I think I'm good. Yep. I'm good. All right. So yeah, and he'll be on in a second. But yeah, so we're going out, and like I said, unfortunately there was guys out there using the range today, and there was just enough, and I like, for lack of a better word, ND8 stuff that 90% of what we did we can't show anybody. It's so nuts. It's like SHOT Show's right around the corner, you know. Why do we have to wait? They should basically say, like, the first week after New Year's there's no more embargoes, you know. And you found a house. Yeah, we'll talk about that after. But yeah, it looks like we'll be Missouri residents, huh? Lee's Summit. So found a house in Lee's Summit. Found a couple houses, but the Lee's Summit one, nice, big. And it's got some woods and different things, so that should be really good. But yeah, when Chris gets on, we'll have a conversation about that kind of stuff. Chris uses the UTG, Robbie. Got a question on the hide. Chris is using the UTG ones that are skeletonized. If you go into Amazon, it's like the two biggest risers are UTG and Monstrum. The Monstrum, I believe there's like a 5. I'm not sure if the 5 has a 0.5 has the flush screws or the exposed. I don't like the exposed screws as much, but the 0.8 and the 1.0 are very elegant Monstrums that have the flush screws to them. And then the UTG is the skeletonized. So those are the two options that are that we've been running for the risers. Oh, there he is. He's in.
I hear you. Can you hear me?
I got you. You sound good. You sound like you're right there.
Yeah.
I was just talking to some stuff. Guys are asking questions already and different things. And one of Blake's over there saying he moved to a 193, the Night Force, and he's digging it. And then Laura was just popped in because she's done with dinner, and she said she got me some Badger 193s for here, so I can move to some non-riser versions. And then she was also just saying that she found a house in Missouri, and so we're kind of going to be putting in for all that stuff. So today she found a pretty decent house after all the automated, non-working, we don't want to talk to a person. It's like no one wants to, like, I get it because I don't do it either, but nobody wants to talk to anyone anymore. So there's no, like, human being to dial a phone and they pick up and go, oh, I got a call. Now it's just like nobody answers for business. And so she had a tough time getting somebody on the line. We missed out on, I guess, the house we, like, our first choice house. You know, you look at everything and you're like, oh, here's, 6 houses and stuff to look at in this run. And, like, our first choice, she went there and they're like, yeah, okay. And then she goes to show up and they're like, no, somebody put a deposit on it. And so, no, you go away. And so then she was bouncing around to some other options. And so she found one today that looks like it might be a pretty decent deal. And it's an older couple that bought a smaller house and they're leasing out the big one. And it's nice. It's cul-de-sac. Woods behind it, little pond, she said, and then it's bigger than this, but it's the same price as this.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice. Like the whole downstairs, like the sniper's hide part of it will be gigantic. Because like downstairs
Which
is
you
like,
could like shoot 22s in.
yes, I'm thinking I can shoot them out the back because the backyard has distance. And I bet you air rifle or 22 I could do right in the back. But yeah.
Oh, that'd be so sick.
Right. And so, yeah, so she found that and she got to reach out and see. And luckily, because this one's a little bit on the higher end, you know, we had a window. Like the Gucci one we wanted was a little bit smaller, a little bit cooler. Was like $500 a month cheaper, but it was a smaller place but a nice. And then this one was at the top end of our budget, and it's actually quite a bit bigger than this, but the same price as this.
Man, you can't complain about that.
No.
Place. Like that's the best, right?
Right.
Not having something is like stressful. I'm like, fuck.
Well, and we got time until April, but you don't want to have to drive back and forth to Missouri to look. Because like I said, nobody talks to you. Now it's all automated. And even more so, they want you to do a virtual tour. So it's not like you make a phone call. They pick up the phone and you say, "Hey, can you meet me at your house? I want to look at it." No, it's like only like a third of them have anyone show up.
And virtual tours don't really give you the feel for what it's like.
Yeah.
If Laura went, that's awesome because she can be like, "This is perfect."
And the only bummer is we wanted to get one that was pet friendly for her because she wanted an animal and stuff. But in this one turned out that
she wants dogs.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't want a dog. She don't like dogs.
I'm gonna get her 3 dogs.
No, she doesn't like dogs. She wants cats. But she
get a
can't though.
dog.
This one is a no pet. This one we found is no pets. So
She's
no,
getting a dog.
no, she does not like dogs, dude. That is
They're just gonna be delivered. I'm gonna put it on Craigslist, like, please deliver dogs.
dog. And if you get her a velociraptor, she'll go out of her mind. She'll be like, "Ah!" So, yeah.
Dogs
Yeah.
with lactose intolerance.
Anything, yeah. So anyway, it was a good, other than I forgot that all of those guys were going to be at the range today. Adam did ask me and I just spaced it.
Yeah, driving in, I was on the phone. I was like,
there's people here.
I wonder what's happening.
Yeah. And then
that's cool.
I remembered halfway down the driveway. So I was like, what is that?
It's nice when it's Adam because he's a nice guy. It's awesome to see him. So it's like, hey, cool. Something awesome is happening. It's better than like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it seems like they're having fun and doing their thing. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. I was saying, the bitch is everything out at the range, nothing could be seen or talked about.
Yeah, right. Today was the secret squirrel day.
Yeah, it was totally secret.
Range and can't talk about it.
Yeah, which is, it's so stupid, but I get it. And then so that's when we did the video, and I was telling everybody, because I named this podcast, this stream, the Rainbow Brite Bridge.
Oh, nice. Well, but the real,
because I got colors
like that is probably worth just saying out loud, and that's why people keep me around, because I'll just say it out loud. But all the NDAs and all that shit, it's because there's fucking slimy ass pieces of shit out there that steal crap.
Yeah.
And if we just realized we were all the same community making cool shit, and it wasn't stolen, it would be so much easier. And we'd have stuff to talk about. But we do, because you posted 2 videos.
I did. And well, I only posted one. No, one. Because did I post 2 or 1? Well, I didn't post the second one yet. I'm going to post the second one tomorrow. I only posted
I haven't had a chance to look.
I didn't either.
The comments and stuff are, but and if there are any, but we could post it.
Oh, so
we could take that and share it.
Here was Chris's group that the guy and that one you can see. You see your one that's out.
Yeah.
That I
that's
saw
because when I shot, I aimed at the bullet hole to zero it.
Oh, but
So it was.
you wiggled. I saw when you wiggled it, because the
Mhm.
second shot like wiggled a little bit different than the first and the last.
But it was the other because I did it twice. So the
But a guy
anyway,
came
yeah,
on
it's
X.
good.
A
It's
guy
fine.
came on X that said your group sucks, and he shot a better group with the old way.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Hey, I never said you couldn't. I just said this is
right,
consistent and it's
right.
pretty cool. Like
I said to him, I said, dude, he did it talking while on
standing on a
command.
tripod.
Yeah, well, no, it's
Yeah.
the one you did when you were prone. You were
Oh, oh,
talking
oh.
and you were showing everybody, like, here's what I'm doing. Bang. Look, you can see
Right.
this. Bang. Hey, I'm telling you right here. Bang. And then it's like,
Yeah.
that was a crappy group.
And you know what, guys? And Jerry Mitchellek, he could do it with a revolver at 100.
Maybe.
So what? But it's good enough to hit things.
Yes. But
Yep.
you can
Yep.
see everything and you can move. And then when you go to distance, you know exactly where you hit. And like, you're like, oh, I hit water line.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
It works, and I'm sure everybody could do better in there on their fridge and getting blowjobs and stuff.
I love a blowjob. But yeah.
But it is
I,
consistent and it's decent and it's fun to do on video, and I like doing stuff on command, so I think it was pretty fun. It turned out to be a really enjoyable day. Like the weather was great
yes.
and we shot and it was fun, and we got to mess around with your rifles with the stuff we can't talk about, but your rifles shoot great, and that
I
stuff
can't talk about the
is awesome.
120 grain out of that. That 120, I put it all together and I was basically, so I had ordered the 120 grain like I talked about. And I had said I really wasn't as big a fan of it because they capped it at 2850 feet per second. So the 120 grain Hornet, excuse me, I'm a burp. The 120 grain Hornady match was only going 2850 out of my Terminus. Well, I put together a different rifle. I used the Detroit Gunworks with the Schneider 5P today. And I was zeroing it up and getting it ready with and I'm like, I got 2 cases of this 120. I'm really not going to go that direction. So let me just use it and waste it. And so I zeroed up and then I did everything. And the first shot out of it, I took it to 1,000 after I zeroed it.
And you had no data. You were like, I think I'm gonna dial to this, and the plate goes bing.
I did. I put 8 on and hit, but it needs 7.7. And so I'm like, I think I'm gonna put 8 on. And then I held a mill of wind and I hit the plate and I was like, oh shit, I hit it. And so then I checked it and the next one I saw where I hit. And so then I realized I was 3/10 high and caught him up high, and then I brought him down to water line, but it was 1 mil, and so yeah, my first round at 1,000 yards was a hit, and I was just laughing. I was like,
Funny
oh
because you
shit,
do stuff like that all the time.
I
Like,
do.
which is why it's like, man, we need like those drones that just follow you around and film everything because it's like, oh,
And they had a
man,
drone out
that'd
there.
be
They just weren't watching me, you know.
right.
Yeah, but
That kind of
and
stuff happens so much, and it's awesome because
well, and what I
it's
liked,
like,
it was 7.7 to 1,000 yards, but it was 3.2 to waterline at 600. So 3.2 is your 6 millimeter number, So out of this rifle, out of this barrel, that Schneider 5P, which I've broken in well now, um, it's 3.2 at 600, and it's a 7.7 at 1,000 with the 120 grain Hornady match. So those are actually very good numbers. And I sort of
yeah,
take back a little bit of I won't use the 120. I guess I will use the 120 because I like it.
yeah, it's a decent speed. The bullet's light enough where, yeah, at 1,000 it's slowing down, and so, but before it starts to slow down, it's got a good flat.
Lee Summit, southeast, right? Laura's on. Wendell's asking Laura where the house is. It's Lee's Summit, and I believe that's southeast of Kansas City, in the loop still, more or less, or just out of the loop. But yes, yeah, Chris, you're right. Yeah.
Who, what, when, why, how?
Oh, they were asking the question, and Laura was just saying how they made her download an app and do all this, and that nobody would let her when she was trying to get into some of the houses that had um the the property managers. You can't reach
Mm-hmm.
anybody. This house is more or less individually being offered, but through a company, I think. So the individual and somebody actually showed up to this property to meet Laura, where most of
Oh,
them
that's awesome.
just want you to self tour. Yeah, the virtual tours. And so, but
Well,
yeah,
yeah, Laura, send it to me. I saw you said Laura put she wrote in this comment. I'll send
yeah,
it to you because
we'll send it over to you. But
unless you,
it's
yeah, it'd be cool to
and
see.
and the
Um,
cool thing about it in a lot of ways, on from like Laura's standpoint, in a lot of ways, downstairs is so big, and then there's the big garage and the backyard and decks and stuff. I don't have to trash up the living area with gun stuff. Like I do,
that is good.
right? Like I do now. Our dining room table and shit has nothing but gun stuff. Because my downstairs here, I don't have a basement. It's a sub. It's like a 3 foot basement. I don't have a basement
Hmm.
here, and downstairs is an open floor plan, and so everything's just laying out like what would generally be the dining room. I have one of the editing computers there, and then the table just has gun shit on it, and then right next to it, every piece of furniture against the wall has video equipment and crap on it, because I do all that here. So if you walk in my house, first thing you see is the table, and then all my gun crap everywhere and shit. So you know
Yeah, and it works, but I get it. But you're also going to have more stuff because you've got things spread around that like you're going to need more space too.
yes, for sure, because we got Wheat Ridge. I got to go get the shit out of Wheat Ridge. and
But
and
but building racks and shelves and stuff. And those plastic shelves that I got from my garage here, they work really good for stuff.
mm-hmm.
Like just to like have piles of them. I want to get maybe 6 more just to. My garage is a disaster. Oh my
Dude,
gosh.
the people
But
behind us, they're a disaster. I go out there. They're like church people. I don't even think they live in the house all the time, but they have to park their car like sideways across in front of their garage. And then when they open it, it's just a junk pile in there.
oh yeah. Well, this stuff I had it so I could pull in. This I'm in the garage now, but
Mm-hmm.
right now it's a disaster because I've been painting on canvases between stuff just to reset my brain. So right now where I would park are canvases and paint and shit. But I gotta
Speaking of
devote
the
a day.
reset your brain and locally and stuff, I got a call from Alex in Wyoming. That property you and I never made it to. He made
Mm-hmm.
it over his hump, and he's got some people and some things that are happening there, so that's going to blow up big. And it's less than 2 hours from us here, and it's in Wyoming there, and they're going to create, because the property's big, they're going to create like an area for hunter, an area for PRS, and an area for ELR. And they're even having an ELR match in the summer there, and they're going to be doing matches. And they kind of the way he explained it to me, although good luck, he wants to be Switzerland and let all the divisions come to his place and play. I said, sure. They probably won't, but okay. But you can do it. But for
If
you,
you could pull it off, yeah.
yeah. But for you, if I, when I'm out or something, we'll hold on to Kevin's as long as he'll let you, or before the solar goes. But if you need to, things are going to start happening just over the border there. And
Is
he's
that where
not
the
a
Fat Boy ELR match thing is? The
maybe. It's
uh
coming this summer, right?
Jose's uh I forget what they call it. Anyway, yeah, we should go look at it.
Yeah, we just did. We were
And
supposed to, and we never were able to because everything just blew up on us. But you and I were
yeah,
supposed to go there and do a weekend and stay, but it just never
even if we
worked.
just drove up for a couple hours and looked
Yeah.
and talked and drove back, we could do a podcast while we're driving, or it'd be cool just to go up and connect and see it because something that big, it'd be interesting to see what they had for, like, how are they going to do hunters? Do they have terrain that's different than
Yes,
PRS?
they
Is it
have
different
ledges
than,
and
yeah,
rocks and woods. It's everything. It's super cool looking. There's a website. I'll have
yeah.
to find it again. But yes,
Then it would be easy to promote.
it's got hunting on it. It's got some woods, I think, on it because there's deer and things. It's got an ELR area with like a rock ledge or something, and then it's got another. It's supposed to be very big.
And then maybe we do a class. Like if we can get
Yeah,
up there
that's
and
what he
look at it and say,
wanted.
like, let's do a class in spring or summer or
He
whenever
wasn't
the weather's
sure
nice.
if because he was like he showed up on the scene like sort of at the edge of sustainability for himself, and he needed a bunch of things to happen immediately to keep him going further. And I guess everything fell into place, and so he's now established, and there's
Oh,
no
good for
risk of
him.
it going away, you know. Um, and so because they had like an outfitter on there, and they had some other things that wasn't really doing well, and then he got into the Cheyenne community with Colin and all those guys, and then it just started getting built up, and luckily quick enough that he was able to be good.
Sick. Well, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Good for
So
him.
it's a good
I mean, I'm glad
resource
it's
right
working
here.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's connect with him and we'll just drive up and
Yeah,
check
I'll
it
give
out
you
when
his
the
number
weather's
and give
nice.
you his name. He's a chatty guy and likes to talk about all kinds of. He asked if I had 5 minutes to talk, and it was 25 minutes. So yeah, not a problem.
Oh shit! Tell him like I'm like allergic to talking on the phone. So,
Well, I am too. I don't talk to anybody to be anymore. I try not to
but we
anyway.
should go up there like that. That's what would be cool is just drive up and check it out,
Yeah, and we
see
can.
it,
We
and be
can
like,
anytime.
okay,
It's just we're in shit weather mode,
right.
and it's Wyoming, you know?
If we can look at it and decide, oh, this would be cool, we could make a short video and say we're going to have a class here this summer, and then advertise it, and then hopefully do
Yeah,
more.
it's no problem.
That'd be
That's
awesome.
exactly what he wants, you
Anything
know?
around here is good because, and it's across
Hmm.
the border, so
And he's got
there's no
a
ammo
bunkhouse.
taxes.
There's a bunkhouse and like a lodge style place on it, so you can stay on property as like an instructor. I don't know how many. I forget how many it sleeps.
That's awesome. Shit,
Hmm.
that'd be amazing. And it less than 2 hours is like so awesome because it sucks to just drive forever or
Yeah.
fly.
Well, and you know that's what we were just talking about. The place Laura found is like 25 minutes away from the range I'm going to have access to. Uh, and then it's also 25 minutes away from the airport,
Oh, that's so awesome.
right? So 25-minute ride to the range and then a 25-minute ride to the airport. I'm like in the best position possible.
Yeah. I mean, that, yeah, right. It doesn't get better than that when you start thinking about all the things that you could do. It's like, well, 20 minutes.
Hmm.
I can manage that.
Yeah, yeah. And there's things on the range, they said. Like there's a house and something. So the range isn't just a piece of land that they shoot on. Supposedly there's a little bit of infrastructure there. So once I take a look at it and get the lay of the land, we can then start looking at classes that way too, you know, and I'll
Nice.
do
That'll
their
be
stuff.
awesome too. Like,
Hmm.
and different environments and new ideas. And that sounds great.
Yeah, yeah. So things are moving fast. It's friggin' everything's crazy. New year, new change, all this stuff. It's just like hard to believe.
Yeah, it is.
So, what'd you think of your bridge
Any
thing?
questions that
They like Robbie asked what your riser was. Your riser's the UTG, right?
yeah, I have a couple different ones, but you know, honestly, when I've bought them, I just go on Amazon, put in 1 inch riser, look for a full one, and buy it, and they're like $15 or something. And there's two that are available, and I don't have a preference for one or the other, but I do want
Well, and
to
that
not
was
have to use the riser.
I had a long speaking of that, and I have photographs, but they're smaller and they're not easy to see. So speaking of the riser, the height, and the whole thing, when I was talking to Larry Bradshaw, and the rings are on the way, they'll probably be here tomorrow. The tall ones, the 225s, So he has them where he threads things inside and he's putting stuff under the scope. And I think he said he has the level system that's the fiber optic. And so he even threads right through the high mount, and then everything sits in between the tall rings for him rather than stuff hanging out to the side and building out. So I think that might be another sort of little positive on the height to be able to reclaim area under the scope. Like we had talked about last week with the risers, maybe putting attachment points on the risers to use. But if it's tall enough and you can reclaim rail space because of the
Yeah, under
individual
the scope is perfect.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that was
I'm
a good
excited to see them and
conversation.
see how it works.
And he's got 2 sets. I got 2 sets of rings or so coming. I think maybe even 3. A rings coming for us. And that he's, like I said, he's a working machinist who has like a little home machine shop who had some spare material. And he said he's been listening to us and he spun up the rings tall for him, and he looked at his current setup and putting a 1 inch on it. That's where he came to 225. Adding 1 inch to his current would give him 2 1/4. And
Awesome.
so,
Well,
yeah,
let's.
so
I mean, as soon as they come, we'll throw them on and take them to the range. Like
yeah, absolutely,
easy day.
absolutely, we'll be in there. And then the only thing I got going on is the shot show. So, and then weather. We got like the weather's coming in. Not, it's probably at your house almost already.
I'm balls cold out here, but yeah. Well, you're at Shot Show. I'm going to be at a match, and then we'll come back and talk about all the awesome
Yeah,
stuff. And
yeah. So shot show's actually stacking up hard for me. I don't want it to stack up hard, but it kind of is. I got a bunch of different things happening now, and so people are
if it
starting to.
stacks up for a lot of hours in a row, you got to see a doctor.
Yes, 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 for sure.
Yeah. So what do people want to hear? I don't see the Sniper Side chat. Everybody,
It is
if you can while you're on this, go to the
the
Riflekraft
video.
channel and watch the video we put up. I can share it
Oh,
on
we
social
can't. We're on
media.
YouTube. We can't show it. You-
Oh,
We're
even
on
though
the.
it's a video,
Yes, we can't. They'll YouTube will
oh,
friggin' cry, and especially
I'll,
today.
I can share a link from Hyde TV to Facebook
Yes, you
um,
can do that.
if I
and
can
just
pull it
and
right
just link
here.
the video. I can drop the video. I can't do the chat in Facebook right here. I only could do the Sniper's Hide chat. But if you want to drop a
Mm-hmm.
link to your video for sure. And then the
It
second
won't let
one,
me actually like type in the chat here. I can I can
yes, you
type
can't.
to a
No, you
guest
can't.
individually, but
You can't because I'm not linked in that way right now. I'm linked into the Hide. And so
mm-hmm.
people commenting on Facebook, we can't respond to them here through Ecamm. It's just showing us they're talking to us. We can't respond to them except verbally. I can type on Hide TV, so I could type to them and say, you know, watch the video.
What's on your mind? I'm going to share the link on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Paste.
Yeah, like that. So there you can go. But yeah, totally.
There we go.
And then did you see? I told you today, everybody. The 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 original Delta guy did like the world record to 100,000 views, or not views, subscribers on X.
Oh
So
yeah,
the
yeah.
Mike Vining guy uh came on X this like now. Like
Mm-hmm.
people saw it like yesterday. So he had like 32 subscribers and he said, "Hey, I'm here." And in 24 hours he got 100,000 subscribers cuz
Right,
he's
but they
the.
spent months and months posting just his that one picture.
Yes,
So
because he's
everybody's
a
like, "Who is
memoir
he? Who is
coming
he?
out.
Who is he? Who is he? Who is
Right,
he? Who is
right,
he?" And then
right.
it's
Who's
like,
this? Who's
okay,
this?
yeah, yeah. But that's clever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Well,
brother.
I mean, his picture, the nerd picture. I don't have another word to call it. His alphas. I guess he's in his alphas, right? So his
Mm-hmm.
alphas picture is so famous because it's like this is the deadliest guy from Vietnam, and he looks like a computer nerd,
Mm-hmm.
and Yeah, so that's funny. What is she saying? The barn with power, but not
Barn with
weather
power,
safe.
but it's not weather safe. It's like a corn crib, like
Oh,
in
oh, oh! At
where you
George's
store
place, I
dried
wasn't.
corn.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I got it. I got it.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, but
Corn
yeah, I think
crib.
that bridge video went really well. Like say I said, it's interesting to me. Like the there was only maybe two posts that push back more or less, but it's just interesting the direction they go. And honestly, the only overwhelming complaint is they don't like how it looks, which was my complaint initially. They just
Yep.
thinks it looks wrong.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like we were talking about the 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
Look at fashion from then. Nobody knew, but now
I loved it.
things are
I had
different.
parachute pants,
So,
tie-dyed parachute
but all
pants.
I'm saying, like if we showed sexy things from now back
Mm-hmm.
then, they'd be like, Psh, "There's no leg warmers."
Right.
And
Or the
in
the
10
high
years,
Chucky
sexy
tees
guns.
that you'd fold down with the colors. My roommate in the Marine Corps, Craig, who I still talk to, and we have a big group. But Craig probably had 20 pairs of various Chucky tees in all the 80s colors. And the ones that folded down that were the multicolor, he never wore a pair. He wore mixed pairs. So the colors were always clashing neon. And that was my Marine Corps roommate, had the like behind me, the colors that are flashing behind me. He had the neon color Chucky T sneakers, and he never wore the pair. He pulled one and one, so that way they looked and they clashed.
You got to get some of those with your Marine Corps birthday tie
Yes.
dye.
Yes. That's what under his bed looked like that. Just in
But as
sneakers.
soon as somebody wins a match, or somebody famous or sexy looking starts using a high riser, people are gonna be like, "Ooh, that's hot."
Right. Yeah, they all will. And they know it's, you know what it is? They just got to shoot it. And that's what I did. That's what everybody did. I'm going to, like, with the mounts that Laura has, I'm going to swap out, like, that Unity 2.0. I should give you the Unity 2.0 to try it. Just a straight mount and see how you like it. And then that way there, if you use it a little bit more consistent, it won't look like the riser and it won't look quote unquote stupid. But I'm going to switch
Yeah.
that.
The problem is like we need to hire a model,
Right.
you know,
Well,
and
why aren't you?
then
You should be the model. I mean, I was telling you, if Chris
we're
Costa
just
could.
like two old guys. Like I think like we got to get sexy pictures with the high mounts and say sexy high mounts are sexy. And that'll just be that should just be the tagline on it. High mounts are sexy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna swap that out for the 193s because, like I said, that 2.0 was right on the edge for me, and so the 193 seems to be just a touch more comfortable. And so I'm gonna switch that out with the ones that Laura picked up, the Badgers, and I'm gonna try it and then put it into that 6 GT and then see. And she picked me up 2 cases of 6 GT. So I have my Gap production rifle. I'm gonna switch it over to the 193 mount from the 2.0 mount, and then I'm gonna put it all back together and I'm gonna work with it a little bit and see how I like the comp gun in a stock because it has the Manor stock in a 193, and then everybody can see it not with a riser, not in a thing, and have it look like a game gun, and we can do ads. High, dude, we should do some ads that say high mounts are sexy and kind of have a thing like, you know,
It should say, would you really would you really not prefer another inch?
oh, you know what? Yes, yes. Who doesn't
Another
want
inch feels
who doesn't
better.
want another inch?
Or,
who who couldn't use an
the
extra
extra
inch?
inch just feels better.
Yes, I'm gonna write these down because I won't want to forget them.
Yeah, yeah. Would you really say no to another inch?
Mm-hmm.
Or add an inch, it just feels better. It's all about the feel.
right?
It could be ridiculous, especially if we're gonna have them made and sell them.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll just keep rotating it.
And honestly, if we get a decent weather day again like we had today, if we get a day like today, either between after this snowstorm comes through tomorrow and Friday, which Monday I'm going to be back. I got a suppressor thing. We got to be at the range on Monday. I got a suppressor guy coming for us to look at those printed suppressor. He's coming Monday. Yeah, Monday.
Nice.
And so that's not NDA'd because there's videos on.
I can be out there all day Monday. I just got to take the kids to school and then.
Yeah, I'm not going to have him come till 10 because it's too cold. And he's coming from south. See, I think he's coming from Centennial. So we can even meet him
through, and skipping the toll road is a little closer from here, but I got there at 10:20. And,
yeah.
Just a little bit of traffic.
But
that 10:20 seems like, because that's kind of when I got there last year.
But once I get that mount, the 193s from Laura, and I switch the Unity and stuff, if you come like Monday when you come to the range, in my car sitting behind the seat, I have my still camera. And what we'll do is we'll take a couple poser shots with the high mount, and then I'll go and put text on them, and we'll make a couple of those ads. Who doesn't want an extra inch and who doesn't need this? And so we'll put something together, and we can take the pictures, and then go from there. And
it'll go well with the suppressor thing where I'm like, let me take this 10-inch thing out of my pants.
My pants, yes, totally. We'll totally do an ad, but like a still ad. What guy doesn't want an extra inch? Boop. And I think that'll be funny. But for sure.
Yep. Now you really have an extra inch.
What do we got? I'm trying to see. People are texting. I was just wondering if something different was up. But yeah, so we'll go do that. We'll do the videos and stuff. But yeah, I didn't post both of your video. I only posted one right now, and then I'll post the other. Like, I just went and looked. The videos you posted last week or around Christmas or something have more views than like some of my little videos that are there. They immediately raced up pretty high. So if you go through and look at a video that's at least 2 minutes long and a complete thought, you should put them up because people are watching them.
I have so many on my phone. I just got to like scroll back and then I get distracted. But
even if you edit them together,
like, we're out there.
I was going to say, even if you edit some of your phone videos together to finish the thought, because I know we have a lot of pieces of video that are apart. And so sometimes...
I have a good one from the other day with these guys that were out. But when I did the video, I put my phone up and the top
yes,
of the
I
screen
saw
was
that.
Like halfway through my jaw. And it's like, motherfucker. But
what you need to do...
He had a cheap bipod. And he shot a group, and I was like, do the same thing with this one.
Oh, yeah, we do that a lot.
And it was, so he had it was like 1.5 inches. So I gave him my Thunder Beast, and it was like 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah, we
it
do.
Was 6 shots and 6 shots.
That's what we would do in Alaska all the time because they would have so many ghetto bipods. And Mark uses like the Elite Iron and then the Thunder Beast as well. So he always would bring spares in to sell people on the Elite Irons because they're so expensive. And like you would get a guy who was fundamentally correct with everything he was doing, but then his groups were like shit. And we'd swap those crappy bipods out and they'd immediately suck down. And that's why we were always talking about the bipod thing and the balance of the bipod in the bag because, not all bipods are created equal. And, the guys will be like, fuck them and their bipod. And, the JTAC guys talk a lot of smack because we'll say the bipod stuff because they do the Harris for their props, And so they'll be like, nothing wrong with a Harris. It's like, there absolutely is, and I can prove it, And so when we would see it in Alaska, because that was usually the bargain bin of bipods, we would fix people all the time by swapping them out. And then that was Mark's sales strategy. I'm going to let you try it. And then you're going to see how much better it is, and then you're going to buy this from me.
Yeah, I did the. You could see like
Yeah,
when
you
I'm
cut.
talking,
Yeah.
you can't even see me. So I'm like, fuck, I can't even use this. But I have the targets in my car, like the paper, and I have the
Mm-hmm.
stuff from today. So I have to like take the audio if I'm going to use it. But it'd be cool to say like sometimes it is the equipment. That's what I say here on the video. It's like,
Mm-hmm. It is.
most of the time it's the shooter, but sometimes it is the equipment. And look, we did this swap, and look at the difference. And
Yeah.
it's like you don't need calipers to say one's bigger than the other. It's just look, this is stability. Some things are so loose that it's impossible to maintain, and that changed everything. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. We and that was, that's why the bipod thing, that's why the rear bags, because we were so intimate and seeing so many people so close with what would be considered subpar equipment at times, because they don't have access to good stuff in Alaska. A lot of them won't ship something up because it's just expensive as the part, and so they buy what's available and it's less than. And so, I have 10 plus years of seeing less than and then immediately swapping it out to something better for somebody and seeing the improvement. And
Oh,
it's
there was a guy there this would be another good video, but it's nice when it's somebody that you haven't really worked with them. And there was a guy there, and he was shooting a gas gun, and he knew how to shoot, but he's like, man, it's not consistent. I looked over, and it was like 2.5 inches of vertical, like just a ton of shots, but it was vertical. And I was watching him shoot, and he had like a medium kind of sized sand bag, but it just wasn't fitting under his rifle, and he wasn't holding it the way I thought he was getting good support. So I said, hey, I've got this Get Light bag, and I know you have sand, but when you squeeze that light fill, it gets hard, right? Way, way harder than you can squeeze sand because the
yeah, you have to death
sand kind
grip
of like
sand.
mushes.
Yeah.
And so I said, just entertain me. I'm curious, and squeeze this under there, and let's see what your shooting looks like. And he kind of looked at me weird. And again, it was under an inch. It
Yeah.
went from 2.5 inches of vertical with like 15 shots to like 8 shots in a nice group that was under an inch from a gas gun with, I don't know anything about the rifle or the ammo, and it wasn't the greatest setup, but it is because he couldn't get consistent, and he was laying his rifle on the bag, and I didn't want to correct any of that. I was just like, look, squeeze this hard. I bet you don't get as much movement. And it was like he didn't even know what I was talking about, but bang, it was a tight group.
Yeah. And that was the Mark and Frank class, was constantly just picking people apart to the nth degree. And because it was our basic class, we were fixing them and then seeing it. So we were absolutely swapping that stuff. And then, like you say, we get a guy who's fundamentally correct, and you're looking at him and going, that person should be shooting better. And then you
Yeah.
swap a piece of equipment out, and immediately they're up to their level of performance that you're seeing. And so that is a valid observation that we've seen for plus years.
Right. You're like, fuck, I don't see anything. So you go to grab the rifle and kind of like wiggle it to see if anything's loose, and you realize that, holy crap, this bipod like has no stability at all. And then it's like, well, I don't want to mess with it. Try this bipod. Bam. It's like, all right.
Well, and
good.
and it's illuminating. If we go, this will be a kind of interesting discussion. So if I go back to the rifles only days, we were doing majority military and, say law enforcement, but .gov. And so they're coming with issued weapons platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And we're moving very little because there's only very little we can move. And so that's where, through the Rangers, it was with the Rangers that it happened, that Jake, because rifles only was the 90-degree trigger finger. Everything was 90-degree trigger finger. But then we made a change early on, and it was a lesson by Jacob to show the line of recoil, and we were shooting Mark 11s. And so he took his hands off the rifle more or less and just had the trigger on, and he pulled his thumb from the grip, which most were using the pistol grip back then. This was probably 2004, 2005, and he rotated it to float the thumb. I still have the photograph, and I could probably metadata it. I have the original photograph from the day with a Mark 11. Jacob floated his thumb. And it was the first time ever. And so that was the biggest change we made, other than straight behind the rifle, the fundamental stuff that Rifles Only's famous for. Really the only kind of seismic shift that I can, there's a lot, don't get me wrong. We were recoil management people. We were 90-degree trigger finger, float the thumb, a lot of stuff. But in the equipment space, we stayed away from touching equipment. We fixed shooters. We really didn't mess with the equipment. When I got with Mark after the Rifles Only years, because they're civilians, we started messing with equipment more. And that's where we start coming on to the bipod, raising it up. We start coming on to the rear bag issues. And we start looking at the equipment. Because we were with people, we could start messing with their equipment and there wouldn't be pushback. And so if you look at what came out of Rifles Only and then what came out of Sniper's High Training after, there was fundamental changes to some body mechanics at Rifles Only, but then we combined those body mechanics with changing the rifle. And that's what you're doing with the high mount.
Could you imagine if social media then was like this now, and you showed a picture of Jacob taking his thumb out, and
unwrapping the pistol grip on a Mark.
Yeah. They'd be like, "Oh my God, what's he doing?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, the Ranger Manual 22-44. Every Ranger will hold the grip like a freaking
big time." And the other thing too.
15.
Is his offhand, his support hand, he wasn't on the rear bag. He wanted to show a straight line, so he did this thing like this, and then he went and made the thumb straight, and then he was doing this, and this hand was off the gun to show it recoiling in a straight line.
And so you got to replicate that. That sounds so fucking awesome. Like, what the hell's he doing with his arm?
Right. And so it just basically...
with you?
It went from think about somebody shooting a Mark 11 in 2004, 2005, and then us changing it to a straight behind the rifle, to loading the bipod, managing recoil, and then floating the thumb. So...
What the hell's wrong with him with his hand out like that? And what's his thumb doing? He better be a goddamn cripple.
Yeah, so it was. I mean, it was a thing for sure, and it happens, and so.
No, I think it's awesome because you guys were thinking and trying things, and there's nothing to lose. It's like, oh, it didn't work. Well, who cares? We tried it, but then you're like, oh shit, it works. Awesome. Let's keep chasing it. Like when you posted the picture of me shooting with my middle finger, people are like, oh my God, I saw him shooting with his middle finger. Do you like that? Should I try it? Like, no, it's just what I do.
That's Chris. I get asked that. And the funny thing, I can come here and you shoot with that, but I have.
You have all the pictures.
And I have the first time I showed you video because I shot video.
Yeah. Right.
So the moment
Mark printed me a grip, like
the ball, yeah.
The blue one.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I just saw it the other day.
Dude, it's right here. Here's the video of you doing it for the first time. I'm not gonna show it but there's the video of Chris shooting with his middle finger for the first time. because I showed him. I'm like, if you run the bolt like this and then your hand comes down, this finger's right there. And that's when I showed you the back thumb in the back of the bolt. And then when you rotated your hand down, you went, wait a minute, this finger's already on the trigger.
Yeah, so the axis, and it was because the AI has that sharp bolt throw. It's like, how do you not cant the rifle? And that doesn't cant an AI. It's like, well, shit, I got control of the whole fucking rifle and the bolt. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah. So I was like showing Chris, and then when he rotated his hand, he's like, well, this finger's already there. And so, yeah, it was.
And then people are like, oh my gosh, the nerves in your index finger are just so used to a trigger. It's like, give me a fucking break. Like when babies could play piano with their toes, like an adult can't learn to do this with the middle finger.
Right.
Like
fucking Tom Berenger did it when the guy cut his finger off.
Yeah, see,
Tom
it's like
Berenger.
a failure drill.
It is.
I'm gonna grab that blue thing. I'm just gonna step away, but I can hear everything. I'm just like, it's somewhere right here.
You had it the other day, so yeah, no big deal. I'm just laughing that there's all kinds of these, like, I have receipts for days. You know what I mean? It's like, if I go back to 2001, I have receipts. And it's like receipt, and even my Marine Corps receipts. I have receipts from the 80s. Somebody's like, when I said, I fast roped onto the Iranian platform in 1988 and the Sasan platforms, and I fast roped and I came around the corner and we were clearing, and there was the 55-gallon drums with a 12-7 on a mount, and there was food right there. Well, I have a photograph of the food on a 55-gallon drum with a 12.7 with Force Recon in front of me. And it's like, oh, I got a receipt. And so then it's like Rifles Only. I carried a camera every day at Rifles Only, and if I go back to Wheat Ridge, I have zip drives and things full. I have hard drives full of photographs, Rangers, DOE, and nobody back then complained about me taking constant photographs. These were all operators. They're all doing stuff. SEALs, Rangers, SF, whatever the case. And I'm taking pictures of us training. And they really, in a lot of ways, paid me no mind and just let me do my thing while we taught them because we were effective, and so nobody cared. It wasn't like they were complaining. They were working. And so I have receipts for not just days, but months. But yeah, I have Chris.
That's so good. That's so cool, and it's fun to look back through old pictures and stuff. Yeah, I got tons of old pictures, and I love.
I mean, even in the photographs, like the first women that were ever hitters with, I have the 2 women that were the first women with .gov that were hitters with this group. They were in the class, and I got photographs of them. And so there was and it's funny, one of the girls was a Marine and the other one was just like a college woman, and the college woman was hot shooter and stuff. And so, yeah, I have receipts for forever on GWAT training for bolt rifle or gas gun for precision. I got more photographs than I know what to do with.
But that's good. That's good because the history and the things that happened chronologically, like, it's good just to have that stuff. And down the road, like a history of all the shooting that you did, like that would.
Well, and that's just it. You could point to the changes and say, oh, in 2004-5, Jacob floated the thumb. Oh, over here, this happened, and stuff like that. And it's kind of one, even like 12 PRS showed up. And they were on Sniper's Hide and setting it up in the chat box. Right. PRS started on Sniper's Hide.
All the rifles, you could say, look, here's pictures of all these classes. Look.
9
out of 10 are this here, but the next year, all of a sudden, there was a shift.
It changed,
where
right?
Did it come from, and then you could just find, like, what caused that shift and narrow it down and have the pictures. Like, look, this is crazy. All of a sudden, everybody has a game changer.
Yeah, well, I'll have all the Rifles Only competitions for photographs as well. So when we did the 2 competitions, the Sniper's Hide Cup and the Shooter's Bash, I took pictures for that too, so you can see. You can go on YouTube and see some of the old Sniper's Hide Cup videos in 2007 and things like that, and you can see how we were running and moving and the different things we were doing. Different from today. And you can see the changes and stuff because the YouTube channel still has the videos and you can find them from different people over the years. Matt Burkett, he was a 3-gun, but he was taking video at the time, and he was one of the early influencers in that space. So he filmed it in like 2007, and there's his videos are up, and so yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there
that would be fun to just dick around and filter through just to see where trends and silly things too. But I mean, it's a good documentation just to have, even if it's just personal. Like, oh, this is kind of fun to look through.
Well, and like I said, we were, Rifles Only was a high point for a lot of those guys who, if you shot a bolt action in GWAT, you probably came through, or even if you shot a semi, you probably came through if you were a DM. Odds are something we did. Something we did.
I'm still here.
Yeah, I got you. Something we did touched you. It was one of those cases where, I mean, I was working 3 weeks on, 1 week off, for 8 years, and it was just a full-time job doing the GWAT guys and all that. So yeah, you can go online and find it. And though Sniper's Hide has changed so many times, I've upgraded it, moved servers and different things. So some of that history is no longer. I mean, it's probably archived and stuff. But I mean, even like the 6.5 PRC, when it was the 6.5 SOM 4S, all the early GA Precision stuff was discussed on Sniper's Hide. So before the PRC was created, the roadmap towards the PRC was being discussed, and then those different things and, all little stuff like that. The early arguments with Litz, the different competing ballistics and
no NDAs because everybody's a community still.
Yes, so, no NDAs because there was no social media to worry about.
Slimy.
We didn't have NDAs.
Steal stuff. Exactly, because you don't.
And people knew if they were going to tell me, I was going to talk. Like, they weren't going to come to me unless they were ready to talk. Because if you told me, I'm talking. And if you didn't tell me, I can't say. Like, you had to physically say, do not tell no one. If you came up to me and said, hey, Frank, look at this, I'm going to go on Sniper's Hide and go, hey, guess what I just saw? You didn't tell me I couldn't.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like shit when you share it to the Hide and all those people that are there that are thinkers and testers and tinkerers, it's like, of course, a better version is going to come out of it because that's humans, the hive mind
right.
It, and it ends up better. Like,
well, even gravity ballistics with the weaponized. Hey, right? What's up, Maddie? With Mark. So when Mark came up with gravity ballistics and he called me in the middle of the night and he's like, hey, I stumbled on something. And I said, dude, we'll put it on the Hide and they'll break it. And when they couldn't break it, it was like, oh shit, we can't break this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, this works.
That's how you figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Laura, my hat's in the car, and I took it off in the car because today was hot.
Yeah, Blake is asking what height you were running at the cup. What was your scope height at the cup?
2.5.
2.5, Blake. So.
Yeah, 1.5 rings on a inch mount.
Maddie, I don't want to say nothing like publicly, but I need to call you probably this weekend or something and just talk to you 5 minutes about a mutual. And who I probably mean, but who was looking for me and stuff. I need to talk to you. It was like, I will say though, I ended up like right before Christmas. We had stuffed cabbage from Stanford. So somebody was like, hey, what can I do? And, to say thanks. And I'm like, I want stuffed cabbage from the church in Stanford. And there's a Ukrainian church and things down there, and they make stuffed cabbage. And so but I need to call Matt and then tell him a story. But yeah, no, we're just
Literally just.
you just had it not too long ago because you showed it on video. The wood one you had the wooden one, the wood ball one, not the blue one, the wood ball one. And Laura knows. Laura's laughing. She's like, "Oh, I know now."
I gotta make the kids dinner.
Yeah, we're good. We can.
But
We
let's
did
do
over
this.
an
We'll
hour.
shoot Monday, and then if we're gonna do anything between now and Monday, we'll just.
No, I'm gonna do. I'm
so good. I'm like rejuvenated.
Yeah, I have a podcast tomorrow with Tim Parkhurst from the Scout Sniper Heritage Association or Heritage Foundation. So Tim Parkhurst and I are doing a podcast for the Everyday Sniper tomorrow. I'll record him live while I'm doing it. So I'm going to be recording an episode for the podcast. But
Okay.
I'll have Tim Parkhurst on tomorrow around lunch. So if anybody's not busy tomorrow and they want to pop into the hide, Tim Parkhurst and I from the Scout Sniper Heritage Foundation. We'll talk the memorial for Quantico. We'll talk a little Marine Corps Scout Sniper history. And so tomorrow I have an interview with Tim, Marine Corps Scout Sniper history stuff.
I'm psyched to listen to that.
Yeah. So
and everybody else, go to Hide TV and watch that video, or I just posted it on Facebook to Hide TV to watch the bridge one. And there's another one coming out, and Frank will post that, and it'll be awesome.
Yep, and we'll be good, man. I just staggered it a little bit because I'll do them together. But we're supposed to I said to myself when I got home because I'm smoked. I said I gotta go. I said I'm sleeping in tomorrow, and then I went, oh shoot, I got Tim's podcast in the morning, but I'm still gonna sleep till like 9 if I can. I'm freaking smoked. But all right, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for Chris popping on. We'll talk to you guys soon. Good night.